Hitoribocchi no Marumaru Sakatsu was my third anime I ever watched. After finishing with Totten and Toradora, I moved on to Hitoribocchi because it was one of the ones that was recommended to me. This anime aired in 2019, so a year before I got into anime, but it was one that I was very intrigued by the synopsis. The premise of this anime is that Toribochi is starting junior high, and her best friend and her only friend in elementary school was a girl named Kai. And Kai, seeing the fate that Bochi would be forced upon if she never uh, was able to get more friends than what she has, being as introverted as she is, Kai refuses to be friends with her anymore until she becomes friends with everyone in her class in middle school. So, Hitoribocchi sets out on her journey to do this. This sounds awfully familiar to Komi Can't Communicate. And it is, but it has its charms. This anime is, I don't want to say basic, I want to say that it knows that it's not a major anime. It's nothing crazy. It's not a huge, well-known project. It is a very simple anime. It's a very cozy anime. You'll have a fun time watching it, and that's about it. But that's okay sometimes. Uh, Personally, I think the characters besides Toribochi are great as well. Nako and Aru are, I mean, they're icons almost. There's so many memes about them that exist even now. For people that have never watched the show, they know these characters because they show up so often. Nako being this kind of what seems like a rebellious delinquent type character is really this really nice character that is Toribochi's first friend. Aru, the clumsy, just kind of airhead type character, but both very good. And I love that the dynamic between those two kind of can shine on its own. This series not only takes the relationship between Toribochi and each one of them individually, but it also forms uh, relationships between each character. And I think that's interesting. I don't think a lot of anime do that, especially of this size. It's very easy to have the main character form relationships with the side characters, but not the side characters with each other. And this one does that. And I think it's very interesting. And I have to commend it for that. But in the end, I'm not going to drag this out because there's just not a whole lot to say on this one. It's a solid anime. It did what it needed to do. I enjoyed it. It's a solid. I want to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's nothing crazy. I'm not. It's not one that I've ever sat down and wanted to rewatch. It's not one that there's a ton of scenes that I think were really memorable. I like the characters, but that's about it. But none of them are like top 100 characters for me. Maybe Aru, if I really sat down and thought about it, but even then, I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, we're going to give it a 6.5. That will put it below both Toradora and Wataten. And while those two are pretty close, this one is a few steps down. So, that'll do it for this time. And next up, get the memes ready because we're going to talk about Blend S.